The Logitech Z623 and the Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 are the two oldest rivals in the game. You've seen them at the top of every Amazon bestseller list for a decade, and there's a reason they're still here. Let's find out which one belongs on your desk. Both systems are THX certified, both are 2.1 configurations, and both have enough output to rattle a desk. The difference is in what they do with that output. The Logitech Z623 is tuned for impact. The subwoofer is the star, a 130-watt dedicated bass driver that delivers low-end pressure you feel as much as hear. Explosions land. Bass lines move air. The Z623 was built for the buyer who wants their gaming sessions and action movies to feel physical, and it succeeds at that goal. Customers consistently describe the bass as impressive and the overall sound as room-filling. Where some buyers notice limitations is in the upper registers, clarity in the mid-range and high-end is solid but not precise, and at high volumes, some units develop buzz or whine that bleeds into the listening experience. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 takes a fundamentally different approach through its MicroTractrix horn-loaded tweeters, a design borrowed from Klipsch's audiophile speaker line and applied here to a desktop system. Horn loading increases the efficiency and directional control of the tweeter, which means highs and upper mids arrive at your ears with more clarity and detail than a conventional dome tweeter produces at the same power level. The result is a speaker system that sounds precise. Vocals are clear, instruments are separated, and detail you did not know was in your music becomes audible. The 6.5-inch side-firing ported subwoofer provides full bass response that the ProMedia rates at 110 decibels in-room, roughly equivalent to live rock music. It hits hard and it hits clean. The wattage comparison here is deliberately framed carefully, because peak wattage numbers in consumer audio are marketing figures more than performance specifications. The Logitech Z623 is rated at 400 watts peak and 200 watts RMS. The RMS number being the meaningful one, representing continuous sustained output rather than a momentary spike. Those are genuinely strong numbers for a desktop system. At full volume, the Z623 fills large rooms without strain, and customers confirm that the output is more than adequate for any residential space. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 is rated at 200 watts peak. On paper, that looks like half the output of the Z623. In practice, the horn-loaded satellite design is significantly more efficient. It produces more usable sound pressure from each watt than a conventional driver does. The 110 decibel in-room rating reflects real-world performance that closes the gap with the Z623 considerably despite the wattage difference on the spec sheet. For most desktop and near-field listening environments, both systems are louder than the room needs them to be. The Logitech Z623 supports RCA and dual 3.5mm inputs, 3 total audio sources connected simultaneously. Computer, game console, TV, media player, all plugged in at once, switched without unplugging anything. That multi-input flexibility is a real practical advantage for buyers with multiple source devices on the same desk or entertainment setup. No Bluetooth, no optical, no digital inputs, purely analog but broad. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 connects via a single 3.5mm input with plug-and-play simplicity. One connection, clean setup, nothing to configure. The control pod sits on the desk and handles main volume and subwoofer gain independently, a physical subwoofer level control that lets you dial bass in or out depending on what you are watching or listening to without going into any software. The Z623 does not offer independent subwoofer control at the unit level in the same way. Neither system offers Bluetooth or USB audio, which means both require a source device with a headphone output or RCA output. Two different subwoofer designs. One prioritizes depth and impact. The other prioritizes control. The Z623's subwoofer fires downward from a bottom-ported enclosure, pushing bass into the surface it sits on and letting the room amplify it. That approach produces the physical presence that buyers who want to feel their audio expect. The subwoofer is large, the enclosure is over 11 inches tall, and it claims real estate on or under a desk. For buyers in apartments or shared spaces, the Z623's bass at higher volumes is something neighbors notice. The Klipsch ProMedia's 6.5-inch side-firing ported subwoofer is more controlled in its output. The bass is full and impactful but tuned for accuracy rather than maximum physical displacement. The result is bass that integrates with the satellite speakers seamlessly rather than washing over them. Customers who care about music reproduction as much as gaming impact tend to prefer the Klipsch's low-end balance. The Logitech Z623 subwoofer is substantial. At 11.2 inches tall and over 10 inches deep, it is a piece of furniture on its own. It typically lives on the floor under the desk, which manages the footprint but requires desk cable routing. The satellite speakers are reasonably sized and flanking a monitor cleanly. The Klipsch ProMedia subwoofer is slightly more compact at 9.5 inches tall with a 9.8-inch width, still a floor dweller in most setups, but with a smaller total volume. The control pod that sits on the desk is a thoughtful detail that keeps you from reaching behind speakers to adjust volume or bass. A small ergonomic advantage that adds up across daily use. Both systems carry documented customer reports of units developing issues. The Z623 has reported cases of buzzing and electrical noise from the subwoofer, and the ProMedia has reported cases of satellites or subwoofer failing over time. Neither product has a clean reliability record in aggregate customer feedback, which is worth stating directly rather than glossing over in a comparison at this price point. Both ship new with standard manufacturer warranty coverage. The Klipsch Noise Floor Report Center on occasional hiss at low volumes, while Z623 complaints more frequently reference buzz and whine that appears under load. Neither is universal. but buyers using either system in a quiet room during sensitive work should be aware of the possibility. The Z623's 3-input connectivity genuinely solves a desk management problem that the Klipsch does not address. Running a PC, a console, and a TV through the same speaker system simultaneously, without a switch box, without unplugging anything, is a setup convenience that buyers with multi-source entertainment desks or living rooms will use every single day. For that specific use case, the Z623's input design is the better engineering choice regardless of what either system sounds like. The ProMedia's single 3.5mm input is its most limiting design decision. In a world where a desk might have a PC, a game console, a TV, and a phone all needing audio output, one input means one connected source at a time and manual swapping for everything else. For a speaker system at this price that otherwise punches above its category, that connectivity limitation is a real daily friction point that Klipsch has not modernized despite the system's long production run. The ProMedia's single 3.5mm input is its most limiting design decision. In a world where a desk might have a PC, a game console, a TV, and a phone all needing audio output, one input means one connected source at a time and manual swapping for everything else. For a speaker system at this price that otherwise punches above its category, that connectivity limitation is a real daily friction point that Klipsch has not modernized despite the system's long production run. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 wins this comparison, and the reason is the one that matters most when you are sitting 3 feet from your speakers every day. Clarity. The MicroTractrix horn-loaded satellites produce mid-range and high-frequency detail that the Z623's conventional drivers do not match. Music sounds more like music. Dialogue in games and movies sits in front of the mix rather than behind it. The 6.5-inch subwoofer provides bass that is felt and accurate rather than just present. At prices ranging from approximately $171 to $200, overlapping with the Z623's range, the ProMedia delivers a more refined listening experience for buyers who spend hours at their desk and actually hear the difference. The Logitech Z623 at $171 to $200 is the correct answer for a specific buyer. Someone who wants maximum bass impact and physical presence for gaming and action movies, connects multiple audio sources to the same system, or simply prefers the Z623's more aggressive tuning for the way they listen. The Z623 has earned its decade-plus reputation for a reason. It sounds like the volume is up even when it is not, and for buyers who want that, it delivers. But for the desk where music plays as often as games, where clarity matters as much as power, where you want to hear what is actually in the recording, the Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 is that system. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 is the winner. Both systems are linked in the description below. Check current pricing before you buy, since both have moved within their ranges. One thing worth saying directly. This comparison has been debated on audio forums since both of these products launched, and the answer has never been unanimous because neither answer is wrong for the right buyer. The Klipsch wins because the listening experience is more complete. The Logitech wins if your desk, your games, and your gut want more bass and more inputs. If you want more comparison videos, hit subscribe. The Klipsch ProMedia 2.1 wins. Thanks for watching.